Faith Sunday in Ordinary Time reveals for us in our readings from Scripture some age-old wisdom from the book of Sirach, kind of revealing that the sins of one's heart come out through the words that they speak. And Jesus, in a fuller way, talking about from the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. Well, the heart can bear, good and bad fruit. It's not just about the sins, but also the blessings that God bestows on us in that way as well. And I've reflected in other places that this is an opportunity for us to really evaluate the anatomy of the spiritual life. So what happens in our spirit, in our heart, really begins in our mind and the things that we think about. We think about good and holy things. Well, good and holy things find their way into our heart. They find their way into our spirits. We think about, ugly things, bad things, dark things, evil things. Well, those things find their way into our heart, into our spirit. And, the more we dwell on them, the more we live from that place, the more we encourage it and, stoke that fire of good or evil in us. Well, at a certain point, you can't hide it. You can't contain it. It just comes flowing out in your speech. Likewise, it comes flowing out through your deeds as well. But, it really reveals our heart. The things that we say reveal what's in our heart. And sometimes that's just a revelation. Sometimes it's a betrayal. And sometimes it is quite the blessing when the goodness of one's heart, overflows into the words that they speak, blessing another person, complimenting them, recognizing, the goodness that God has instilled in that person, or those words of encouragement and strength and hope. Joy and consolation that comes from a place of knowing, God's goodness and love and fidelity in our own lives. St. Anthony, I'm here for a very particular reason, because St. Anthony was known as a wonderful preacher, almost kind of like there was St. John Chrysostom and St. Peter Chrysologus. Their names literally meant, golden mouth or golden word. Well, maybe, St. Anthony only wasn't called that because those names were already taken, but St. Anthony had a way of preaching the gospel, a way of saying the good word, the good news, in a way that really flowed from the depth of his heart, that was so full from having known the tender love of Jesus, having known the love of the Father and the Spirit's working in his own heart. It's a blessing for us to have his patronage and really, his example as well, that insofar as we spend our lives filling our minds and so our hearts with the goodness of God, so from the fullness of those good areas of our own hearts, our mouths will speak as well.